It was only after insisting on having an X-ray that she discovered a pair of 17-centimetre surgical scissors had been left inside her.
An X-ray is designed to spot fractures, but it can sometimes reveal something far more unexpected. From a child with a stomach full of magnets to a bullet lodged in a skull for decades and never-before-seen medical anomalies, join us as we uncover the strangest things ever discovered by X-rays. Number 19. Proposal gone wrong. The X-ray machine has revealed some truly strange things over the years, and this story from New Mexico is no exception. A young man's proposal plan went sideways in the most unexpected way, leading to a hospital visit and an X-ray image that redefined memorable engagement. The restaurant was booked, the champagne was chilled, and the ring was safely tucked away in his pocket. But little did he know that his carefully orchestrated moment would take a turn for the absurd, leading to a hospital visit that neither of them would ever forget. As the couple sat down to enjoy their milkshakes, the nervous boyfriend seized the opportunity to make his move. With a trembling hand, he discreetly slipped the engagement ring into his girlfriend's glass, eagerly awaiting her reaction. But fate had other plans. As the unsuspecting girlfriend took a sip, the ring disappeared from view, and she suddenly began to cough and sputter. Panic set in as the realization dawned on them. The ring had accidentally been swallowed. The romantic gesture had turned into a medical emergency, and the couple rushed to the nearest hospital. There, X-rays confirmed their fears. The engagement ring was now making its way through the girlfriend's digestive system, a glittering passenger on an unexpected journey. Doctors reassured the couple that, in most cases, swallowed objects like rings would pass naturally within a few days. But for the unfortunate boyfriend, the wait was agonizing. After waiting for days, the ring was finally recovered. Number 18. A shocking appetite. The woman who consumed 55 batteries. While swallowing a ring that would make them question everything they knew about foreign objects in the human body. At St. Vincent's University Hospital, a woman arrived complaining of stomach pain and vomiting. As doctors prepared to examine her, the X-ray results left them stunned. 55 batteries were lodged throughout her digestive system. This wasn't just indigestion. It was a deliberate act of self-harm and a life-threatening emergency requiring immediate action. The medical team faced a daunting challenge. The AA and AAA batteries, with their caustic chemicals and sharp edges, posed severe risks to the patient's digestive tract. Initially, doctors hoped she would pass the batteries naturally. While she expelled 5 AA batteries in the first week, subsequent X-rays showed most remained inside, and her abdominal pain worsened. Left with no choice, surgeons performed an emergency operation to remove the batteries. The aftermath was devastating. Significant damage to the woman's stomach and intestines, deep lacerations, and a high risk of infection. However, thanks to intensive care and the medical team's expertise, the patient ultimately recovered from this shocking ordeal. Number 17. The soldier's sacrifice. A grenade in the gut. While ingesting batteries shocked doctors, another case of swallowing dangerous objects was about to redefine heroism and sacrifice. In a stunning act of bravery and desperation, a Ukrainian soldier made a decision that would forever etch his name in the annals of military history. Faced with an overwhelming enemy force and the looming threat of capture, he took a drastic and unprecedented step. He swallowed a live hand grenade, determined to transform himself into a human bomb. But as the grenade settled in his stomach, the soldier realized the fatal flaw in his plan. Once the grenade was inside his body, there was no way to pull the pin, no way to trigger the explosive that would take his life and those of his adversaries. He was now a ticking time bomb, a walking weapon with no way to detonate. When word of the soldier's plight reached the military doctors, they knew they were in uncharted territory. Leading the charge was Andrei Verba, one of Ukraine's most renowned surgeons. Alongside a team of experts in explosives and combat engineering, Dr. Verba prepared to undertake a mission that would test the limits of his skill and courage. The stakes could not have been higher. The grenade, nestled precariously beneath the soldier's heart, posed an imminent threat, not only to his life, but to the entire medical team. One wrong move, one slight tremor, and the consequences would be catastrophic. The operating room became a battlefield, a place where the line between life and death was measured in millimeters and seconds. With nerves of steel and hands as steady as a marksman's, Dr. Verba and his team embarked on the delicate dance of extraction. They worked with painstaking precision, acutely aware that they were diffusing a bomb that could detonate at any moment. And then, in a moment that would be forever seared into the memories of all present, the grenade was freed from its fleshy prison, carefully lifted from the soldier's body, and whisked away to be disposed of safely. Number 16, the Cutlery Conundrum, a stomach full of spoons. Just when doctors thought they'd seen it all with grenade ingestion, a case emerged that redefined unusual cravings. Imagine preferring forks and spoons to the food on your plate. For Margaret Dahlman, a 52-year-old secretary from Rotterdam, this wasn't imagination, but reality. Her visit to the local hospital for a puzzling stomachache led to an X-ray that left medical professionals stunned. Her stomach contained an astonishing 78 pieces of cutlery. The medical team was at a loss for words. They had never encountered a case quite like this before. Upon further questioning, Margaret reluctantly admitted to a bizarre compulsion. Every time she sat down for a meal, she found herself inexplicably drawn to the silverware, consuming forks and spoons while ignoring the food on her plate. It was a habit she couldn't explain, a strange urge that had taken over her life. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the doctors knew they had to act fast. The sheer volume of cutlery in Margaret's stomach posed a serious threat to her health, and every moment counted. In a delicate and painstaking operation, surgeons carefully removed each piece of silverware, one by one. Remarkably, despite the incredible strain her body had endured, Margaret made a full recovery. However, her ordeal was far from over. The psychological toll of her compulsion weighed heavily on her, and she knew she needed help to overcome this strange addiction. Number 15, a cooking catastrophe. As if cutlery alone wasn't shocking enough, X-ray technicians were in for an even stranger surprise when a kitchen utensil showed up in the most unexpected and uncomfortable of places. An X-ray revealed an entire pestle lodged deep inside a man's rectum. Typically used for grinding and crushing ingredients, the tool had somehow found its way into an agonizing and unnatural position, leaving both the patient in severe pain and the doctors with a perplexing case to solve. The circumstances surrounding the pestle's journey remained unclear, as the embarrassed patient was reluctant to divulge the details. Despite repeated questioning, he never gave a conclusive answer. Was it a spice rub gone terribly wrong? A misguided attempt at internal cooking? Or perhaps he was just trying to get to the bottom of a new recipe? Regardless of the cause, the medical team had to act fast. The pestle, wedged tightly in the man's rectum, posed a serious risk of injury and infection. In a delicate and painstaking procedure, doctors worked to remove the offending object, navigating the delicate tissues of the patient's lower digestive tract. Number 14, the Magnetic Menace, a child's harrowing ordeal. As shocking as the pestle case was, it's far from the only instance where small objects pose big threats and become horrors. In fact, just across the Atlantic, another bizarre medical emergency was unfolding, this time involving a child and a popular toy. When 8-year-old Haley Lynn's parents bought her a set of colorful, magnetic building pieces, they never imagined it would lead to a life-threatening situation. Like many children her age, Haley was fascinated by the vibrant magnetic pieces and spent hours building intricate structures. However, tragedy struck when curiosity led her to swallow some of those magnets. At first, Haley's parents weren't aware of the severity of the situation. It wasn't until their daughter complained of excruciating abdominal pain that they rushed her to the hospital. The X-rays revealed a horrifying sight. The magnets had attracted each other within Haley's digestive system, causing 8 devastating tears in her intestines. The medical team knew that every moment counted, and they immediately prepared for emergency surgery. For 2 agonizing weeks, Haley fought for her life in the intensive care unit. The surgeons worked tirelessly to repair the damage caused by the magnets, carefully stitching together the torn tissue and ensuring that no further harm would come to the young girl's body. Haley's family remained by her side, praying for a miracle and holding on to hope that their beloved daughter would pull through. As Haley slowly recovered, her parents channeled their grief and anger into action. They took legal steps against the toy manufacturer, holding them accountable for the dangerous product that had nearly claimed their child's life. Their efforts led to a massive recall of 4 million magnetic toy sets, potentially saving countless other children from experiencing the same horrific ordeal. Number 13. The Miraculous Misfire, a drill bit to the brain. Haley's magnet mishap left doctors stunned, but another incident was about to redefine the limits of human endurance. Meet Ron Hunt, a construction worker whose routine day at work turned into a medical miracle that would leave even the most seasoned professionals in awe. Ron had faced numerous job hazards over the years, but nothing could have prepared him for the freak accident about to unfold. While working on a routine project, Ron lost his footing and tumbled from a ladder, landing face first on a spinning drill bit. In a split second, the 18-inch metal spike pierced his skull, penetrating deep into his brain. Colleagues rushed to Ron's aid, horrified by the sight of the drill bit protruding from his head. They feared the worst, convinced that no one could survive such a catastrophic injury. But as Ron was rushed to the hospital, he clung to life, his body refusing to give up. When doctors saw the X-rays, they were stunned. The drill bit had miraculously missed all of Ron's major brain structures, threading its way through the delicate tissue like a needle through cloth. In a complex and painstaking operation, neurosurgeons carefully extracted the drill bit from Ron's skull. They marveled at the precision with which the metal had navigated his brain, avoiding critical areas by mere millimeters. It was as if an unseen force had guided the drill bit on a path of least destruction, sparing Ron from almost certain death or devastating brain damage. But Ron defied the odds by walking out of the hospital with barely a scar to show for his brush with death. His story spread like wildfire, earning him the nickname the Miracle Man, and inspiring awe in all who heard it. Number 12. The Headache from Hell, a nail in the noggin. While the metal spike accident was a sudden shock, imagine living with a deadly intruder in your skull for years without knowing it. In South Korea, a man was about to discover that the source of his persistent headaches was far more alarming than he could have ever imagined. He visited countless doctors and tried every remedy imaginable, but nothing seemed to provide relief. As the pain intensified, he began to fear that something more sinister was at play. It wasn't until a routine X-ray that the shocking truth was revealed. A 2-inch nail was lodged deep within his skull, a silent passenger that had been with him for years. The man was stunned. How could a nail have ended up inside his head without him noticing? As he searched his memory, a vague recollection surfaced. Years earlier, he had been involved in a workplace accident, a seemingly minor incident where he had bumped his head. But now, the X-ray told a different story. That innocuous bump had driven a nail straight into his cranium, where it had remained, undetected, for years. The nail had managed to avoid all critical brain structures, nestling itself in a relatively safe location. But the constant pressure it exerted on the surrounding tissue was the source of his unrelenting headaches. In a delicate operation, the medical team carefully extracted the nail, millimeter by millimeter, ensuring that no further damage was inflicted. Number 11. The jewel thief's last resort. Accidentally having a nail inside one's body is shocking, but deliberately swallowing 2 gold necklaces takes it to another level. When Joseph Bravo Ramos was caught red-handed driving a stolen vehicle tied to a robbery, he faced a dire predicament. Yet, while awaiting transfer to the county jail, he pulled off a bold maneuver that had even the most experienced law enforcement officers scratching their heads in disbelief. During a routine X-ray scan, Sheriff Bob couldn't believe his eyes. There, nestled in Ramos's stomach, were 2 gold necklaces, the very same ones reported missing from the robbery. Ramos had made the audacious decision to swallow the evidence, risking his health and adding a new level of complexity to his case. Doctors had to act fast. The ingested jewelry posed a serious threat to Ramos's well-being, with the potential to cause internal tears, blockages, or even poisoning. In a delicate surgical procedure, medical professionals carefully extracted the necklaces from Ramos's gastrointestinal tract, ensuring that the ill-gotten gains didn't become a fatal mistake. Number 10. Nightmare come true. Bizarre cases aren't always about deliberate criminal acts. Sometimes they're just nightmares come true. Jenna Evans swallowed her 2.4-carat engagement ring during a vivid nightmare. In her dream, she imagined herself on a high-speed train, desperately trying to protect her precious ring from shadowy villains. Her fiancé's dream world advice? Swallow the ring to keep it safe. Upon waking, Jenna was shocked to find her ring finger bare and a sinking feeling in her stomach. Quite literally, panic set in as she realized that her dreamscape actions had spilled over into the waking world. Together with her fiancé, Bobby, she rushed to the emergency room, torn between laughter and tears at the absurdity of the situation. An X-ray confirmed their fears. The engagement ring was indeed nestled in Jenna's stomach, a glittering beacon of their love story's unexpected detour. Doctors, opting for caution, performed an upper endoscopy to retrieve the ring rather than waiting for nature to take its course. Number 9. A gut-wrenching mistake. What could be more dangerous than a ring inside the human body? Well, something much larger and much more robust. In China's Fujian province, a man's ill-fated attempt to remove a bottle from his abdomen turned a bizarre situation into a life-threatening emergency. After inserting the bottle into his body for reasons he didn't want to disclose, he realized with growing horror that it was stuck fast. Desperate to extract the foreign object, he resorted to using a hooked wire, a decision that would prove nearly fatal. Doctors, upon examining the man's X-rays, were shocked to discover that not only was the bottle lodged deep within his abdominal cavity, but the wire he had used to try and remove it had become a deadly weapon. The sharp ends of the wire had pierced his stomach lining in multiple places, leaving him in excruciating pain and at risk of serious infection. In a tense and complex surgery, medical professionals worked tirelessly to extract both the bottle and the wire, carefully navigating the damage caused by the man's misguided attempt at self-surgery. Hours of painstaking work and precision paid off as they successfully removed the objects and repaired the extensive injuries. After days of intensive care and round-the-clock monitoring, the medical team's relentless efforts finally pulled the patient back from the brink of disaster. Number 8. A throat full of trouble. From intentional insertions to accidental ingestions, the human body becomes an unwitting host. A man's life took a sharp turn when a dare from friends left him with a spoon lodged in his throat. For an entire year, he carried on with his daily life, unaware of the utensil's presence and the potential danger it posed. It wasn't until a sudden blow to his chest left him gasping for air that he realized something was terribly wrong. Emergency room doctors were stunned when X-rays revealed the shocking truth. The utensil had become a ticking time bomb, threatening to cause serious infection or even puncture his esophagus. In a race against time, surgeons performed an emergency procedure to remove the offending object. Coated in a year's worth of mucus and debris, the spoon was carefully extracted, much to the relief of the medical team and the lucky patient. Number 7. The bullet that time forgot. A spoon in the body for a year is shocking, but imagine carrying a lethal weapon inside your skull for nearly half a century without even knowing it. In a case that defies medical odds, a 62-year-old Chinese woman lived her entire adult life with a chilling secret lodged in her head. For 48 years, a bullet, not a small pellet, but a full 2.5-centimeter round, nestled silently near her sinus cavity. This wasn't just a foreign object. It was a ticking time bomb that miraculously never went off. The woman's journey to discovery began with a series of seemingly unrelated health issues. A stuffy nose that wouldn't clear, headaches that lingered, and swollen lymph nodes that caused concern. It wasn't until doctors decided to take a closer look that the shocking truth was revealed. X-rays revealed a story that the woman herself had long forgotten. When she was just 14 years old, a sharp blow to the head had left her momentarily dazed, but she had quickly brushed it off as a minor incident, thinking a small stone had hit her. Little did she know that what she dismissed as a pebble's impact was actually a stray bullet, embedding itself in her skull where it would remain undetected for nearly 5 decades. Surgeons marveled at the bullet's location, nestled in a precarious spot near delicate facial structures. In a delicate operation, they carefully extracted the foreign object, finally freeing the woman from her unwanted cranial companion. Remarkably, she made a swift recovery, her body eager to heal after years of harboring its secret burden. Number 6. The Cockroach Catastrophe. From decades-old bullets to instant chaos, sometimes foreign objects announce their arrival with a bang, or in this case, a buzz. In a small town in Israel, a woman's ordinary day turned into a horror show when a cockroach decided her mouth looked like prime real estate. Panicked and desperate to evict the 6-legged squatter, she grabbed the first tool she saw, a fork. In a frenzied attempt to dislodge the insect, she ended up swallowing both the bug and the utensil, kicking off a medical emergency that was equal parts terrifying and absurd. Dr. Nikolai Adid, the attending physician, found himself faced with a medical mystery unlike any he had encountered in his career. The medical team knew they had to act quickly. The fork, with its sharp tines, posed a serious risk of perforation, while the cockroach carried a potential health hazard. Unlike farmed and prepared cockroaches, which are considered safe to eat in certain cultures, uncooked cockroaches, even those specifically raised for consumption, carry bacteria and pathogens. In a delicate operation, Dr. Adid and his team carefully extracted both objects, navigating the twists and turns of the woman's gastrointestinal system. Astonishingly, the woman made a full recovery. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. Recently, a medical community was shocked by a rare X-ray. A man visited a doctor complaining of severe underbelly pain. During an X-ray, doctors discovered a unique case of calcification. Surprisingly, a full cartilage was growing inside his reproductive organ. The patient underwent successful surgery to remove the cartilage. The second image is said to be an X-ray of a man who went for a body modification and got a metal rod implanted. What are your thoughts on these unusual cases? Let us know in the comments. Number 5. A Jet Lag Jewel Heist. Ingesting a fork is dangerous, but rings, it seems, have a peculiar appetite for human digestive systems. Dana McMichael, wife of former NFL star Randy McMichael, found herself at the center of a bizarre medical drama that unfolded in a luxurious Thai hotel room. Exhausted from a grueling travel schedule and battling the mind-numbing effects of jet lag, Dana reached for her daily dose of vitamins. Little did she know that her precious diamond wedding ring was about to become an unintended and incredibly expensive dietary supplement. In a fog of fatigue, Dana swallowed the handful of supplements, only to realize moments later that her ring finger was suddenly bare. Panic set in as she realized that her cherished symbol of love had taken a most unexpected journey down her throat. Fearing the worst, Dana and her husband rushed to seek medical attention. X-rays confirmed their suspicions. The ring was indeed navigating its way through Dana's digestive tract. Doctors, however, reassured the couple that nature would likely take its course, and the ring would eventually make its grand reappearance without the need for invasive procedures. Number 4. The phone that was hard to digest. Accidental ingestions are one thing, But when stomachs develop a craving for digital devices, things get truly bizarre. In the bustling city of Pristina, Kosovo, a 33-year-old man found himself in a predicament that was as bizarre as it was life-threatening. In a moment of inexplicable decision-making, he swallowed an entire Nokia 3310 phone, a device known for its durability and indestructibility. But even the legendary Nokia met its match in the harsh environment of the human stomach. Once inside, the phone broke into 3 pieces, a small mercy that would make the surgical intervention slightly less daunting. However, the true danger lay in the phone's battery, which had detached and was now floating freely in the man's digestive system. Doctors knew they were racing against time. The battery posed a serious chemical hazard, and every moment it remained in the man's body increased the risk of catastrophic damage. In a complex operation, surgeons carefully navigated the man's gastrointestinal tract, successfully removing the phone fragments and the rogue battery. The medical team marveled at the phone's condition. Despite its journey through the acidic environment of the stomach, the device remained largely intact. The man, however, faced a long road to recovery, his body bearing the scars of his bizarre dietary choice. Number 3. The scissor swallower. Swallowing electronics is odd, but dental hygiene mishaps take bizarre bodily intrusions to new heights. Lin Kong, a 27-year-old man from China, found himself in a hairy situation when a casual attempt at dental hygiene took a dangerous turn. While using a pair of 4-inch nail scissors as an impromptu toothpick, Lin made a split-second decision that would land him in the emergency room. A sudden burst of laughter at a friend's joke caused Lin to inhale sharply, inadvertently sucking the scissors down his throat. Panic set in as he realized the gravity of his situation. The scissors, now lodged in his esophagus, had become a ticking time bomb. Rushed to the hospital, Lin's X-rays revealed a shocking sight. The scissors had fully penetrated his esophagus, with the sharp points dangerously close to his epiglottis. Doctors knew they had to act fast, but they also recognized the delicate nature of the procedure. Under local anesthesia, the medical team carefully navigated Lin's throat, using specialized tools to grasp and remove the scissors without causing further damage. It was a tense 30 minutes, but in the end, the scissors were successfully extracted, leaving Lin with minimal scarring and a newfound appreciation for proper dental care. Number 2. The Case of the Hairpin. It's clear that these bizarre ingestions aren't just adult misadventures. No age group is immune to such incidents. A 4-year-old boy in Saudi Arabia found himself at the center of a medical mystery that would baffle doctors and test the limits of his tiny body's resilience. What began as a simple case of childhood curiosity quickly turned into a nightmare when the boy swallowed a seemingly harmless hairpin. Over the course of 3 long months, the boy suffered from unexplained pain, fever, and chills. His parents, desperate for answers, sought medical help. But initial diagnoses pointed to a common urinary tract infection. Antibiotics were prescribed, but the boy's symptoms persisted, a sign that something far more sinister was at play. It wasn't until doctors decided to take a closer look that the shocking truth was revealed. An X-ray showed that the ingested hairpin had embarked on a treacherous journey through the boy's digestive system, ultimately piercing his right kidney. The tiny metal intruder had become a source of silent agony, slowly wreaking havoc on the delicate organ. In a delicate operation, they carefully removed the offending object, freeing the boy from his months-long ordeal. Remarkably, the boy made a full recovery, his young body's resilience proving more than a match for the wayward hairpin. Number 1. The Bus Stop Hero. While most bizarre medical cases stem from accidents or misadventures, some arise from acts of sheer bravery. It was a scene straight out of a movie. A man stumbled into a hospital emergency room with a kitchen knife protruding from his skull, right above his eye socket. Onlookers were horrified, but the man himself seemed strangely calm, given the circumstances. The story that unfolded was one of bravery, quick thinking, and sheer luck. The man, as it turned out, had been riding a bus when a robbery attempt went sideways. In a split-second decision, he chose to intervene, putting himself between the assailant and the other passengers. The altercation ended with a knife lodged in his head. Doctors, upon examining the X-rays, were amazed to find that the knife had miraculously missed all vital brain structures. The man, conscious and coherent despite his injury, had seemingly defied medical odds. In a delicate operation, surgeons carefully removed the knife, marveling at the patient's incredible fortune. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.